Last night's storm left over 2,300 residents in Union Parish without power and damaged homes. The journey for Zalkowski has been far from smooth, to say the least, traveling over 1,552 miles across the country so far. Just to give you an idea of how fast the obesity rate is going up in this country, in 1995, there was no state that had an obesity rate above 20%. And even to this day, students here at Neville High say the mathematics teacher not only pushes them academically, but he also prepares them for their futures. Habitat for Humanity continues to expand their home ownership program with new homes all across the Twin Cities. It's beautiful outside. The sun is starting to set, but it is truly beautiful to see these creatures in person. And speaking of these horses, they've been busy all day today getting prepped for the big parade on Saturday. A former governor and one-time presidential candidate spoke today from a pulpit in a Dallas church. Thanks, Natalie. Well, organizers have been forced to cancel Sunday's dedication of the Martin Luther King Memorial in Washington, D.C. The East Coast is preparing for what could be the most damaging storm in years. Other folks in the area had health on their minds. It was all about getting a little exercise with furry friends this morning in Ruston. The birth of more jobs in Sterlington is a prime example of local and state government working together for some time now. Officials say this is the groundwork for long-term economic development to stay put right here in Northeast Louisiana. At City Hall, the buck stops here at the mayor's office. Jamie Mayo is the head of the city and the man responsible for all hiring decisions. That's what the mayor said about why he hired a city employee named Brian Yost.
We support that. Once an individual such as Brian Yost fill out an application and he's hired by his supervisor, well, then it comes to the department head, they sign off on it, then it comes to the mayor for final approval.
Take one hiring decision the mayor signed off on. Brian Yost hired as golf course superintendent at Chenault Golf Course. On paper, Yost has an impressive resume, high praise and high recommendations.
Once he came to us and was recommended to us, and we made a decision where his skills would be best fitted, and that skill was at the golf course.
But his criminal history tells a more sinister side of Yost, including a charge that's forced him to register as a sex offender. In 1998, Yost was charged with 3 counts of oral sexual battery, 3 counts of indecent behavior with a juvenile, and 1 count of sexual battery. Oral sexual battery charges involve a victim who's younger than 15. Mayor Mayo and other city officials say they knew about Yost's rap sheet.
Yes, they were aware of the circumstances. They had talked with him.
In fact, Mayor Mayo says he supports second chances.
As long as that person is not a threat to our employees, is not a threat to the services that we provide to the community, is not a threat to our citizens, well, then we make a determination as to whether or not to hire that person. And that's what we did with Brian Yost's case.
He adds there's no city policy that prevents the city from hiring convicted felons. That's the mayor's defense to hiring a known sex offender who works at a place where children are allowed to golf. But one question we asked on camera tested the mayor's temper.
Brian Yost, he was convicted for oral sexual battery as well as indecent behavior to a juvenile. With that said, would you still...
Okay, the interview. You've asked me a lot of questions. I've answered all of your questions.
But would you still have hired him if he did that crime to, let's say, your very own daughter? Would you still have hired him?
Okay.
We can't do that.
The interview ends. Okay. Interview ends. That's not what you said your interview was. You're going into what if and all this. We don't deal with what ifs.
After the mayor told us the interview was over, he wasn't finished sounding off on the story.
We're not going to work with you or your company when you try to butcher me and stuff like that.
I'm not trying to butcher you. It's legitimate.
Now get out.
And that's where the interview ends. And hours later, the city of Monroe called NBC 10 back to announce they have terminated Brian Yost for lying on his application. However, the mayor's office says they won't back down from continuing to hire convicted felons and offer second chances. City spokesperson Rod Washington went further on about why the city fired Yost. He says in addition to lying on his application, he lied about the ages of the multiple victims involved in the 1998 charges. Kayla Williams, NBC 10 News.
Go!
As the drawdown of troops from Afghanistan and Iraq continue, many are still running towards danger so that we might live in freedom.
We're extremely proud of them.
Friends and loved ones packed the First West Baptist Church in West Monroe to say see you soon to the 160 soldiers of the National Guard leaving for their year-long tour in Afghanistan.
I am an American soldier!
I am an American soldier!
This never do!
In support of Operation Enduring Freedom, the primary mission of these men and women of the 1022nd Engineer Company will be to improve soldier quality of life and basic security for other U.S. forces across Afghanistan. As for today, cherished moments with family, memories to hold on to for the next year.
The men and women of the 1022nd Engineer Company are no strangers to serving their country.
Take Sergeant Michael Healy, who's off on his second deployment, but about to embark on his first journey through fatherhood.
I'm leaving a lot more this time when I leave out. But I'll be looking forward. When I come back again, I'll be a dad.
And Specialist Richard Garcia, who will return to Afghanistan on his third deployment, just 1 month after a roadside bomb killed his brother, Army Staff Sergeant Michael Garcia of Bossier City.
It never gets easier. Just you get prepared to, you miss a lot of things while you're gone. I mean, a whole year of my life, I'm going to miss birthday parties, but it's just part of the job.
Sisters Ayana and Jaslyn Ray will deploy for their first time ever together.
I'm glad that she's going with me. I don't think I can do it without her, but right now my mind, it's just family. I'm going to miss my nephew so much, my mom and my dad. It's sad.
But as hard as it is to leave, it can be just as hard to stay. Catherine Latendry of Ruston said goodbye to her husband and son as they both left on their first deployment together. As folks wave and tears fall, many wait for the day that they'll be able to wave welcome home.
We love all of them. We appreciate the service and what they're doing, and just to be safe and come home, even if it's a year later, we want you home safely.
Hurry up and get here.
Yeah, just hurry up.
Words of encouragement for the country's most brave. Kayla Williams, NBC 10 News. El Dorado is coming together to honor Martin Luther King Jr. The city had to postpone its 21st annual MLK parade in January due to weather. So today, folks are finally paying homage to the civil rights legend. Very busy weekend in the Arklamas. I know a lot of people have plans this weekend. It's pretty much the start off, the kickoff to the football season here. A lot of people are excited. Well, Monroe police say they tried to serve a mentally ill man with an order to take his psychiatric medication, and it turned into a high-speed chase. Generations of family members and friends were in Monroe today to celebrate the birthday of a very influential man.